Zylos shimmered like liquid mercury, her form shifting and solidifying into a humanoid shape with razor-sharp claws and eyes that glowed with cold blue light. She delighted in causing chaos, and her metallic resilience had made her a seemingly unstoppable force in the coastal town of Seabrook. Her current target was the town's lighthouse keeper, old Zylos, who stubbornly refused to hand over a powerful focusing lens Zylos craved for her nefarious plans. Zylos, though frail, was surprisingly agile and led Zylos on a frantic chase that eventually spilled onto the beach. The salty wind whipped Zylos's metallic hair around her face as she stalked Zylos across the sand dunes. He darted towards the crashing waves, hoping to use the slippery rocks to his advantage. Zylos, with a contemptuous snort, followed, her metallic feet sinking slightly into the wet sand.
"You can't escape me, old man."
She lunged, her claws extended, but Zylos was quicker, scrambling over a barnacle-encrusted boulder just as a wave crashed against it, splashing Zylos with seawater. She recoiled slightly, hissing at the cold wetness, but quickly regained her composure. Water was nothing to her, she thought dismissively. The chase continued, a bizarre ballet of metal and flesh against the backdrop of sand and sea. She felt a slight grittiness against her joints, but paid it no mind. However, after a prolonged period of this back and forth between the dry sand and the churning sea, Zylos started to feel different. When she tried to leap over a large piece of driftwood, her left leg didn't quite respond as quickly as usual. A faint, almost imperceptible stiffness hampered the movement.
"What was that?"
She flexed her metallic fingers, and a faint, gritty sound, like tiny gears grinding with sand in them, reached her ears. Zylos, noticing Zylos's momentary stumble, took the opportunity to put more distance between them. Zylos, annoyed by her own clumsiness, pressed on. But with each step, the stiffness seemed to increase. When she tried to swing her arm to swipe at Zylos, the motion felt heavy, almost labored. A faint reddish-brown dust seemed to be forming around her elbow joint.
"This is irritating."
She tried to run, but her legs felt like they were moving through thick mud. They creaked with every step, a sound that was definitely not normal for her perfectly engineered metallic body. She looked down at her legs, her once gleaming mercury surface now marred by streaks of a dull brownish hue around her knee joints.
"What is this filth?"
Zylos, observing Zylos's increasingly labored movements, was utterly perplexed. Zylos attempted a powerful leap to intercept Zylos as he reached the safety of the lighthouse steps, but her legs locked mid-jump. She landed with a heavy, awkward thud, her ankles protesting with a loud, rusty screech. Pain, a sensation she rarely felt, shot up her legs.
"By the cold stars, what is happening to me?"
She tried to take another step towards the lighthouse, but her knee buckled, and she had to brace herself with a clawed hand against the wet sand. Panic began to bubble beneath her cold, metallic exterior. The brownish streaks were spreading rapidly, like a creeping vine across her body. Zylos watched in stunned silence as Zylos's struggles intensified. Finally, with a loud, agonizing creak that echoed across the beach, Zylos froze. Her legs were locked solid, her arms stuck in a slightly bent position, and even turning her head became a monumental effort, accompanied by a chorus of rusty squeaks.
What have you done to me, old man?"
Her blue eyes, still glowing with anger and disbelief, stared at Zylos, who was now watching her with a mixture of fear and utter astonishment from the safety of the lighthouse steps. Zylos simply shook his head.
I didn't do anything. I just ran.
Zylos strained with all her might, trying to bend an arm, to flex a finger, but her limbs remained stubbornly locked. The rust had permeated her very being, seizing every joint, every point of articulation. She was trapped, a once terrifying metal menace, now as immobile as a rusty weather vane. The realization dawned on Silas. It was an accident, a completely unforeseen consequence of their battle on the beach. Zylos, her blue eyes blazing with impotent fury, could only stand there, a prisoner in her own rusting body. As the waves continued to crash against the shore, the salty spray a constant reminder of her utterly unexpected and humiliating defeat. She was the metal terror, now resembling nothing more than a very angry, very stuck metal statue on the beach.